I'm a hippo.
Broadcast Hippo. Digital media.
Come on!
I'm a hippo.
Broadcast Hippo. Digital media. What is up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to the show. It is Thursday, September 23rd, 2021, in the year of our Lord.
It's going to be a good one because it's just me and you. I always
Woo!
great chemistry.
That is a good show right there. No, Demetrius is going to join us. I texted him, I'm like, hey, hi. And he's like, hold, please. So I don't know. I'm sure he'll be here at some point.
Were you at least getting some nice music while you wait?
No, not at all. He just hold, please. Just send me a text back, hold, please. So anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. How the weather? How are you guys doing? The rain, is it stopped yet, Tivoli? I know you've gone to work. Is it stopped?
It's sprinkling, and then every now and then there's a spurt.
Do we know what it's supposed to be?
I heard something like 4 inches today.
Wait, it's going to rain 4 more inches today, or 4 inches total?
No, because yesterday people measured it. It was already at like 3.5.
Yeah, so another half.
But no, I heard like another 4 inches. That's what I heard. But I don't pay attention to the weatherman because they're a bunch of charlatans and liars on there. I mean, seriously, if I need to know what the weather is, I just look outside, and I'm good.
Well, yeah, but if you're planning a day, if you're planning a weekend, if you're planning a trip, if you're planning an outing, I mean, you want to know.
They've been wrong. They're wrong just as many times as they're right. So take the gamble.
Take the gamble. Anyway, good morning, Josh. Energy in the Morning featuring Chris Tiefel. Natasha's good morning, Natasha. Good morning to you. So let's see what's going on. Well, I don't know how much to wait for Dion, or do we just roll, or I'm not sure.
I don't know if you've noticed, but the show's already started, so we already did.
So let's go. Let's roll. All right. So over the weekend, I'll give you the history first of all. I live in Perrysburg, and there was Harrison Rally Days at one point, right?
Yeah.
And then Harrison Rally Days, because it was named after this guy Harrison, who ended up being president, and he lived for some time in Perrysburg, from what I remember, from what I'm hearing in the controversy. He lives some time in Perrysburg. It's not where he claims his hometown is, or I don't even know what president he was, but anyway, he was General Harrison at the time that he was in Perrysburg. So they have these Harrison Rally Days to celebrate Harrison. Now, I've been in Perrysburg many years, since about 2005, and there's, other than the name of the Rally Days, there's never been any mention of Harrison ever, in the whole time that I've been here. It's just they're not celebrating the guy really. It just became a festival. That's just the name of the festival, but they didn't promote the name. So
I mean, if you name the festival Harrison Rally Days after the shortest lived president in American history, you're promoting the name. The guy died. The guy was in office for a month and then died.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he got sick during his inaugurational speech and never recovered.
That's funny. It should just be like an hour-long festival then, just like a quick festival, just see like in honor of the shortest term for a president ever. Anyway, so now it's Harrison Rally Days all these years. Now the woke police, which I'm not making fun of, because I believe in a lot of things that I believe in a lot of wokeness, so I'm not making fun of it. But the woke police are like, hey, this dude's family owned slaves. I think he may have owned slaves too, but his family owned slaves. And they're saying, so we shouldn't be celebrating a slave owner, so we should change the name. So the Chamber of Commerce said, okay, well, we're going to change the name of Harrison Rally Days to Positively Perrysburg. Perrysburg was outraged. Or,
the PP Festival?
Yes, Positively Perrysburg. And some of the people, as everything does, it turns into a political. It turns into a political funnel for some reason, and that's one of the main thing. That's one of the amazing things that Donald Trump has done. He's been able to turn us all against each other and turn every issue into a political issue where we have to be in our camps, we have to be in our tribes.
Yeah, that didn't start with Trump. The Trump didn't help matters, but that didn't start. That started with with Citizens United and saying corporations are people and they can put unlimited money into politics. And ever since then,
actually, we can have the debate. It's not really when it's. I could tell you when it started, but it's just it's taken us a little bit off topic. Okay, I'll give you.
And as we know, this show never enjoys going off topic.
Well, I will tell you, he didn't start the fire. He just fanned the flames. I'm a fan of the flames. That's true, Brenda. I'm going to tell you who started the fire. Who started the fire was
Billy Joel.
No, it was.
He has a whole song that says he didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't write a song that says you didn't do it if you did do it.
And I think he does protest too much.
It actually was Rush Limbaugh started this fire. And what happened was there was one Rush Limbaugh in this country, and he would say the things that Trump is saying now, and what he has done over 25 years, he breeded a bunch of Rush Limbaughs. I mean, that's what Rush Limbaugh did. And then when he was successful in making a lot of money, it's all a money play. He was successful and made a lot of money. Well, then these other junior failing talk show hosts decided to be mini Rush Limbaughs. And the stations decided, we'll make more money. We'll make it Rush Limbaugh all day. So all these AM stations are Rush Limbaugh. There were all these AM stations that were nothing once FM hit. Now they refound their way by becoming Rush Limbaughs all day long, all over the country. So that's where it really started. And then, our division just continued to get worse. And then, like I said, Donald Trump just was the.
You know what? People really don't want to admit it, but crazy people are insanely loyal. They are insanely. I mean, look at how long they hold on to a crazy idea. So. If you can get them on your boat, they're never jumping off.
No, that is so true.
And what is going to happen is they are going to indoctrinate their friends and family, and they're turning them into crazy people. And they're all on the boat too. And so what you do is you have a self-sustaining money supply, because these people are going to buy the MREs when the world comes to an end. They're going to buy gold because eventually it's going to be Mad Max up in this bitch, and we're going to need gold and gas. They're going to buy silver because Glenn Beck told them to.
I'm going to need a bomb shelter to lock myself in when the zombie.
Right? Because tomorrow the economy is collapsing. We have Haitians coming across the border to have sex with our wives. It's absolutely there's nothing worse than a black man with a French accent. That's the triple threat. Like, do you understand? Like, how can we compete if he's an athlete too? We're done. Yeah. So
well, I got to tell you, there's this comedian, and I can't remember his name right off the top of my head, but I discovered him within the last week, and he's amazingly funny, and he's the guy.
Thank you.
He's the guy that got fired from SNL for something he said on his podcast before he even started. So he got hired at SNL. And then 4 hours later, these things they said on his podcast came up, which he was saying, which I don't agree with, but he was saying comedically, whatever. He never thought he was going to be on it. He said it. I saw watching an interview with him. He's like, I never thought I was going to be on SNL. So I say whatever the fuck I want, And then they started pulling up these past comments. So he never made it on the show, and it was funny.
Shane Gillis.
Yeah, Shane Gillis. And I listened to this great interview with him where he said, most people, when they get canceled by the woke police, whether you're Martha Stewart or who's the racist white woman down south, or
Paula Deen,
whoever it is, these are all rich people that have already made their millions, and it doesn't matter. He got canceled when he was on the train, riding the train, because that's all he could have. Like, he didn't have limos or anything like that. He was just a comedian that just got a great job, and in his big break, 4 hours after he got his big break, he was canceled. So, but anyway, he's like, my dad is a Fox News dad. He goes, I would rather have that than have my dad be a MSNBC dad. Renewable energies are really what we should look forward to. And he's like, my dad's America. We hate the environment. He's a Fox News dad. And
you hate the environment.
He says he watches a Fox News, and then he's like the choir, like a black person at a black church. He's like, "Oh, Tucker, go Tucker."
Yeah, where you sit there, you're like this.
Yeah.
Like that's when you know you got them, is when you get the and like then you can throw in, "Can I hear you?" Immigrants are coming across the border and they're taking our jobs and women.
Can I get a wall? Can I get a wall?
Don't you know we need a wall, not to keep Jesus out, but to keep the people who don't love Jesus out? Don't you know we need our guns not to protect our family, but protect Jesus?
I'll tell you, Demetrius isn't wrong. There is nothing like validation from an old black woman. Like, they're already skeptical about a lot of things, and they have opinions about everything. But if you can catch them and you can get them on your side and you get that going, and that there's nothing like that feeling. You know you brought them over.
I gotta tell you,
brought them over to your side.
When I'm on the food truck, there's a reason David Blaine does magic in front of black people. Because it's that validation, and when they like something, they're gonna love something. Like, oh shit, this is the best guy.
Yeah, because we fell for the fucking boat thing, and now everything needs to, like, you need to wow the shit out of us, like, to believe something anymore. Like, they're like, you want to see some magic, and you're like, yeah, I heard that before, and then I was on a boat. Now.
when I'm on the food truck, if I can get a black person to try the puffy nachos, like, oh shit, these are goddamn. I'm like, yes, preach it.
Yep,
it's so good. All right, so
see, that's why black people are so bad in court, because they've spent so many other hours testifying for other things, like nachos and Jesus, and they're like, man, I'm tired of testifying. I ain't seen shit.
All right, so I can't remember where I was going with it, but so anyway, so Harrison Rally Days, it's it's the KK turned into the KKK Rally Days. Anyway, so these Trumpers, because it goes down a political funnel. So now it was the Harrison Rally Days. They changed to positively Perrysburg. Then they got a bunch of backlash. They just canceled the whole thing. They're like, COVID, done. And then some of the Trumper, I don't know what to call them, because as soon as you say Trumpers, then they immediately you lose people. But I don't know what else to call them. But the Trumpers are like, well, we want Harrison Rally Days back. So they bring it back to Harrison Rally Days because it's about Harrison and okay. So then they bring it back with like 2 weeks left before the rally. And then a friend of mine ends up being in charge of the because obviously I'm like, well, it's political and blah blah blah. I'm not going to go to that thing. It's whatever. Because I'm the type of person that I get that I get that people will make fun of being woke, but if I'm going to make people feel, we've had this conversation, if you're going to make people feel bad, just fucking change it. Who cares? Like, I just don't care. If we've been a racist country in the past, and it's not that long ago, like 40 years ago, black people couldn't even eat in the same fucking restaurants as white. So it's not like it's hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
It's like this generation. It's like my grandparents could have dealt with racism for sure, and we deal with racism today. So it's not like it was hundreds of years ago. So I'm like, hey, if it's gonna offend people, then let's just change it. Who cares? It's not that it's who cares anyway. That's the way I feel. So they, my friend.
I mean, I can see your point to an extent, but you also you're offended by something. So what is kind of my other spectrum on it? I mean, you have a right to be offended, and I have a right to not give a crap.
We've had this conversation even on this topic. It's like, at what point? So if he's a slave owner, is that when we're offended, or is it? because everyone's not perfect, so there are things that you're going to do.
I mean, he forgot to wear a coat at his inauguration, so that kind of. Why are we celebrating the man?
See, you know what? I just think, like, look, I don't know why there can't just be a mix of the two sides, because I really like some aspects of Fox News people. I like the go-getterness. I like I love that. I love the whole, you know what, if I can't depend on other people, I'm going to depend on myself kind of attitude. I like that. That part I love. And then way on the left, I love enjoy the smell of the fresh air and hug a bear, and everybody's allowed to live the way they want to live, and I love that idea too. So why can't we just mix them? Why does one side have to crush the other side out of existence? I want to be a guy who enjoys a summer day, but when I encounter a bear, could stab it in the throat and wear its pelt back to the store. I want to be that guy.
I think you and I, D, we both have so many friends, the right-wing friends. But everyone is so demonized now that you can't disagree. You have to hate. You have to hate. That's where we've come. Is that you're if you're the other side, you're disgusting. You don't believe in God. I mean, it's just that's the way they win. But the people that are doing this are the ones that are making money off this stuff. So they make money off making sure that we all hate each other.
Yeah,
and it's a whole industry. It's a whole cottage industry. But anyway, so she's like, hey, they asked me to be in charge of the parade for the new Harrison Rally Days, and I'm like, oh, you're gonna be in charge of Harrison Slave Days? Come on. And she's like, I know, but they asked me to do it. I like the event. I've been going to it for years. I'm going to do it. She's like, I want you to announce the parade. I'm like, oh man, I was going to stick away from this. I was going to stay away from this thing. She asked me though, so I go ahead. I said, okay, I'll announce it. I'll announce the parade. So I'm at the parade on Saturday. And I'm sitting at my little table, and people are coming by, and they're like, "Yeah, thanks for doing this. Thanks for doing this." I'm like, I know, and I'm like, you're welcome, but I'm thinking, I'm not one of you. I'm doing the parade for a friend of mine. I'm not one of you. So it turns into be this right-wing celebration, and now, as I was saying before, D, before you came on, Harrison was just a name before. It wasn't like they're not throwing Harrison in your face. You're not wearing Harrison hats and Harrison T-shirts with the guy on them. You're not celebrating the guy. It's just the name of
definitely not wearing Harrison coats.
So now though, Harrison's at the front of the parade. They got him at the front, and it's a whole. Yeah, I know. And then and I'm like, what am I doing here? What am I doing?
See, here's the thing. Now, what's happened is now it's turned exactly into what the woke left was raging against. When it was just a regular family event and nobody knew who Harrison was, it was a nice little festival, and you take your family, and then all of a sudden some fucking Birkenstock douche walked in there and said, do you know his history? And then it turned into something else, and they were like, well, we should change it. And what I'm asking is the two sides next year meet before the festival, right? You go like this. All right, you really love Harrison. All right, so we're going to give you back Harrison, but we want Rally. We want you to take Rally out of it. Like, okay, right? Rally denotes a kind of feeling for people. So we'll give you Harrison. You give us Rally. You're not attached to Rally. Just give us Rally. Nobody even likes Rally's the restaurant. If we can just have Rally, and you can call it Harrison Festival Days, and we can just move on from there. And you're like, okay, all right, we'll do Harrison Festival Days. You guys can have Rally. We won't talk any shit about him. We'll enjoy our funnel cakes and ice cream, and you guys find another festival to fucking ruin.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
It's the Streisand effect. It's the Streisand effect. The attempt to try to try to get rid of something, try to hide it and everything, just made it blow up and everybody realized it. Like you said, nobody gave a crap about Harrison before.
Right.
Nobody really knew his history. I mean, he was president for a month. Nobody gave a crap. And now all of a sudden he just becomes a rallying cry because like you said, Birkenstock.
We're trying to take our Harrison away.
Who?
Really? Who? Harrison Ford? Are they going to stop making Indiana Jones movies?
No more Star Wars?
Because literally that's the only Harrison you knew before this shit blew up. Harrison Ford. That was it.
That's so true. So I do the parade. The parade's very short. It lasts 15 minutes. There's a bunch of without politicians, there wouldn't even be one hardly. There's a bunch of politicians that go through blah blah blah. And I get to this one. Ohio Freedom Keepers. So now I'm supposed to announce Ohio Freedom Keepers. And then they give you a little description of what it's about.
Doesn't that just sound like oxymoronic?
Our freedom
Ohio Freedom Keepers.
It's a statewide organization dedicated to growing the medical freedom movement by
so you don't want to get vaccinated. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
I mean,
they're like,
just
no,
be honest with what you want. Be like, I want COVID.
All right.
So they're like, no, so then they start coming through. I have the card. They're coming through and I see, no mandates, choice, but I'm like, oh God. I'm like, what am I doing here? Mm-hmm. And so now I'm like, do I announce
So I think it's safe to assume that you would give this woman her right to choose whether or not she was going to have a baby. Oh, no, not that kind of medical freedom. Not that choice. Nothing in your body. I get it. Yes, I get it. Your body, your choice. Her body, your choice. I get it. Yep.
So now I'm like, I don't even want to fucking mention these guys. And I've read everyone else's card and their description. And I'm like, I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. And so they're going by. They're looking at me. You going to say something? You going to say something? And finally, right when I see the end, I'm like, Ohio Freedom Keepers. And then I go right to the next one. Like I didn't read any of their description or anything. That was the best I could do was to get their name shout out. And that was all I could do.
And they went back and they were like, goddamn mainstream media. God wouldn't even say that is how much the government really wants to suppress our message is even a man in a parade. They have gotten to him. It won't be the fact that you just disagreed with them. It's going to be some huge thing where it's like, it's not like you just disagreed with them and you felt like they didn't need any kind of publicity because there were a lot of weak-minded people in the audience who may be swayed by the fact that these people decided to be in a parade, although they'd named their organization Freedom Keepers. That's like freedom slave owners. I don't understand that. You don't get to keep freedom. That's not a thing.
Well, and luckily though, like when you're in the parade, you only know your float. Like you don't know what I've done for all the other floats because you're in the parade at the same time. So there wasn't even anything. They probably went back to the parade bar and sat around and they were like, man, that Andrew Z, man, you should have heard our intro. He said everybody's first and last name. We got what we like to do in our spare time. And then bam, he went into a loving story about how he personally knew each one of us. Woo, Freedom Keepers, what'd you guys get? Wait, what?
What?
Supposed to get stuff?
He just said Freedom Keepers and keep it moving. He said, you guys didn't get Kick Rocks. We got Freedom Keepers Kick Rocks.
Good times. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. If you can, tell a friend about the show. Share it on your page, make some comments. It helps with the algorithms and all that shit. So we do definitely appreciate it. So let's talk about this Gabby Petito. Oh, Gabby Petito. Isn't it Gabby? It's Gabby, right? Am I saying Abby? No.
Yeah.
Gabby Petito. So I didn't get in. Everyone, I don't even have to explain the story because everyone knows the story. But I didn't get into this thing at the beginning. I'm just so busy. Like this is something that I would have gotten into in my older days, but in my other days. But I'm just so busy. Like I don't focus on anything. I'm just working all the time. I just don't have time. But there's no way to be away from this. There's just no way. It's gotten to the point where Everyone is talking about it. I go to Colleen's mom's birthday party yesterday, and the whole house at one point ends up giving their theory on Gabby Petito. I mean, that's how big this thing is at a birthday party. The kids, I'm talking about kids from 10 to adults at 70. Everyone is in on the passionately in on this conversation.
What was the
about
10-year-old
Gabby
theory?
Petito. They all had their theories. I just wasn't. I wasn't. It was a. Well,
She was like, he probably took his crayon.
Well, I saw on TikTok. I'm like, oh god, this is where we're getting news from. TikTok. I saw on TikTok. At that point, I just kind of checked out. But everyone is talking about this damn Gabby Petito, and people are saying it's blonde white woman syndrome because there are so many people missing out there in the world. Why are we focused on this one goddamn woman? And oh, look, I feel bad for her family, and obviously, you know, so I don't want to. It's hard to not make. Look, I saw a meme that I posted, and I just want to.
Did you see the meme that you posted? Did you?
I'm hoping
today was not the day that you just blindly post memes. That like you saw that one.
Saw this one. But both these things are true. Number one, Gabby Petito is important, and her disappearance and death was a tragedy. Number two, missing white woman syndrome is very, very real. Both can be true at the same time, and they are both true in this case. And I like I said, when I wasn't emotionally attached to this story, and I'm still not really, because everyone else is. So I have some opposite syndrome in me because everyone else is so into it. I'm trying to not be into it. But
Why? Why?
I don't know. It's just something when everyone else is doing it, I'm like, it's just not my thing.
Yeah, Gabby Petito, Nickelback. You can put them all on the same list.
But I did post on Facebook, and I really was just doing it to rile people up. I said, we don't know if this poor guy is you are trying her boyfriend in the media, and you don't even know if it's him. So settle down.
I mean, technically, you're right.
Exactly.
I mean,
that was
logically, though.
Right. Logically, this dude is good.
Yeah. We got questions. You don't just pull into the driveway without the girl who lives here and
driving her van.
Driving her van, and for 10 days she doesn't call, text, nothing about her stuff. Like real?
Look, I don't blame him because maybe she was quiet. Maybe she was sleep. Maybe he just thought.
I thought she was in the van the whole time.
I thought she was sleeping in the back. I'm here at the house. I'm like, yeah, but you back
left
there.
her at the marathon down the road. I don't know.
I will tell you, I had stepbrothers for a minute. My mom was married to a guy, and he had 3 kids, and so I had stepbrothers. We left one of the kids.
I like how we said had 3 kids. What did you do to them?
No, they're still around. I just, they broke up or whatever. So whatever.
They're just dead to me.
Yeah, no, I talk to. I still talk to them. We rekindled, so we talk. But and then they watch the show every once in a while too. So, but my point was that we went on an RV trip one time as a family, and it was me and my stepdad and my mom and us 4 kids. So that would be 7, and then my grandma, and so we had and my grandpa. So we had 9 or 10 people on this RV. And at one point we stopped for gas in British Columbia, I think it was. And British Columbia, Canada. And we stopped for gas. And then everyone got back on. We rolled out. We rolled off 5 miles, 10 minutes away to realize we left one of the kids back at the gas station. And this is before cell phones. This is before anything. They're just like, hey, where's Mick at? I don't know, he's back there in the back sleeping. So he would go back, and he's standing outside crying in the driveway of the gas station. So it could happen. You could accidentally leave her. You think she's in the car. Maybe
look, that could accidentally happen if you were like the guy in Sister Wives and you had 6 of them in the car, and you just didn't notice that you were one less voice in the RV because they were all talking.
One less person bitching at you.
Like, you know what? Totally. Helen was at me about the map, and Gene was yelling at me about the coffee. It was hard. How was I supposed to know I left Ashley at the gas station?
Right.
but you're one guy with one girl, and
Two of
and
you.
yeah, like
Okay.
I know in my house, if I don't hear my wife's voice, she is at work or asleep. And those are the two things. So to tell me that you forgot her somewhere, it's eerily quiet when
Okay.
you don't.
right,
Eerily quiet.
That one's okay. That one's that excuse is a little tough. Here's
Wow, I can all of a sudden see out of the passenger side window. That's weird.
well, she could have been in the back sleeping on a couch or something.
I think the way this whole thing's going to play out, though, is obviously she's dead, but the autopsy's not going to reveal anything towards murder or anything, and it'll end up being blamed on her falling or something, and then him freaking out, coming back.
I don't know.
Everything.
You just don't drive back and not say shit for 10 days. I don't know.
Well,
And then all of a sudden just disappear. I don't know.
They were going to blame it on me.
Because you did it, bitch. You follow OJ on Twitter. That's what you should do. Look.
Did you see the thing with OJ recently? He said he avoids LA because he's like, at any moment I could be sitting next to the person who did it.
Yes, you always are sitting. No matter where you are in the country, you are always sitting next to.
Everybody at every restaurant sits him next to a mirror. That is why he feels that way.
So here's the latest info on this Brian Laundrie, Gabby Petito story. Is that the neighbor saw Brian Laundrie and his parents leave their Florida home.
Is his last name really a chore?
Yes, it is. Actually, and I'm watching John Walsh, the America's Most Wanted guy. He goes, and Brian Dirty Laundrie.
Hey, you got to give Brian Walsh credit. He's really good at the bad guy puns.
I like you.
I'm so over. Like, I get it now.
Well,
but he's turned into the Geraldo of missing and murdering people. Yes. And that's another thing. He was doing the Lord's work back in the day. Yep. He was doing the Lord's work. And then all of a sudden he fell in love with the money. Yes. And now he was like, how do I get people to watch me?
No, what
and
happened?
Then
here's what happened, D, is that America's Most Wanted was appointment. No one remembers. I can't think of his name. Walsh.
Adam.
No, the dad's the kid. What's the son? Yeah. What's the dad's name?
Mr. Walsh.
I'm getting old. We're just talking about. Anyway, John Walsh.
Yeah.
So the two needed to be together to be big, and once they separated, the show it wasn't big without him, and he wasn't big without the show. So now he comes to the point where I have to still get people to pay attention to me. So now he's become the Nancy Grace of because he's outrageous and he's got to do that. But before he was so matter of fact, and so it was a great mission when he was on America's Most Wanted, and now he's turned into a little bit of that
in television. It's known as jumping the shark.
Yeah,
and in media, it's known as Al Capone's vault. It's just that moment in your career where you just start going after everything.
Yeah, no, I don't
seeing what sticks.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, the latest information is that Brian Laundrie and his parents leave their Florida home, according to a neighbor, with an attached camper, a random camper on top of the truck, after he returned from his trip with Gabby Petito. So basically,
campers they have laying around that it's just a random one.
Well, I think they wouldn't. I don't think it was on there before. Either they had it laying around, or it was. Oh God, here comes Colleen. She's just so into this fucking story. Hold on. What?
Okay, but after John Walsh started talking last night, who said everything that man said?
I know.
Oh my God.
Colleen's been on it. She's been on the case. She's been on the case. Like, she's done everything.
Okay, so here's what happened.
But go there.
Oh my.
Here's what happened. Demetrius
was.
Shut
yes, ma'am. I am shutting. I'm literally. I am.
Okay.
I need
go on, Stabler Benson. I need to know exactly how you put this together.
Okay, so he was.
Wait. Let's give her the proper intro. Dun dun
dun.
I need the 30-second version. Go.
Okay, so he was super obsessed with like serial killers, and one of his favorite authors was actually like I forget the guy's name, but he was reading a book at the time of the trip. And it was about how this guy goes on vacation and becomes a serial killer while he's on vacation. So I think that he killed the 2 other girls and that Gabby couldn't take it and was going to snitch on him. So he killed her too. And then he implicated her best friend, Rose. And I don't think that, I think that Rose and him went back to Florida in the van together. And then I think that Rose is involved as well. Because
okay, first off, there's 2 other girls.
Yeah, there's 2 other girls that were found deceased in graves.
Okay. So your solution to this is that it wasn't just like they got into a fight and he killed her and then came back and was acting shady. Your solution to this is it was a overcomplicated serial killer plot that involved another woman being his lover.
Oh no, Rose is her best friend, but like they had a very dark. So that's actually how Rose and her got together as best friends for the like last year and a half, was that they both were super obsessed with serial killers and all of that. And if you pay close attention, you notice that Brian and Gabby both watched and listened to true crime podcast and everything else.
Don't you listen to true crime podcasts?
Yeah, but I'm not crazy.
Keep that head on a swivel.
What?
Like I said, Gabby wasn't crazy, but Brian gives off such a Chris Watts feel that it's not even funny.
Who's Chris Watts?
He's the dude that killed his wife and 2 kids in Colorado.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Colleen. Love you. I got it.
Keep that head on a swivel, Andrew. She's listening to them podcasts just like laundry.
I know. So okay. So anyway, but they're saying but what the neighbor was saying was that they saw the guy get in the back of the camper, and then the parents go. It's like this fucking guy now. He's fucked his old parents. His parents are like, what do you do? So what do you do? Your kid comes home and he killed somebody.
You call an attorney. That's what you do. None of you are smart enough to cover up a murder. Understand that.
Yeah, you can't live your whole life till you're 60 or 70 and then all of a sudden think that you're going to be able to outsmart the police who've been doing it their whole life.
Like my
dad's already told me if I ever break the law, he's going to be the one to like take me to the jail. Like he's already going to call it. Like I don't go to him for help in covering up a crime.
Like here's the thing. It's just I understand, but your kid comes home and he tells you that he accidentally killed somebody, right? Which is more than likely what happened. There was an argument, he pushed something, and he accidentally killed her. And then he panicked and drove home because, and so he's like, shit, I got to go find my mom.
He gets home, he's crying, he's like, mommy,
yeah.
What happened, baby? What happened, baby? I accidentally killed Gabby. Oh, baby, it's okay. We'll take care of it for you.
Yeah. You know who that shit works for? Gang members. Gang members whose parents were gang members. That's who that shit works for. They come home, they're like, hey, I think I accidentally killed my girlfriend. And they're like, look, little homie, don't worry about it. We'll roll up, grab that body, we'll wrap that bitch up. Nobody's going to find her. And then what? Everybody's going to think they found a gun, but it'll be not the gun. So that you don't like your parents don't have that background. Your parents sold fucking Girl Scout cookies.
Right.
They can't help you cover up a murder, but they can help you call an attorney.
Your dad retired from Winn-Dixie after 30 years.
Yes. Yes. His big thing was he put the bread close to the produce. That was his big move.
Yeah.
My problem is I come from a long line of snitches.
Fucked. All right, go ahead, Colleen.
I'm just curious if you and Brian have the same mommy.
Shut up.
Oh yeah.
And then
I think
mark
Andrew's
my
mom
words.
would help him.
Yeah.
Mark my words. Brian is in Puerto Rico.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right.
Why would you flee to an extradition country?
They're looking in the
They're not smart. They don't realize that he could be extradited back because it's technically a U.S. territory. But I guarantee you, he is hiking trails in Puerto Rico.
John Walsh said he's in Mexico, which would make more sense.
Yeah,
John Walsh.
That's exactly. He's hiking. He's hiking.
Yeah.
He's got a backpack and some Avion,
Anyway,
and he's
This is what I'm dealing with.
I'm running from the cops, so I'm going to trap myself on an island. That's smart.
She doesn't even know that she doesn't remember that her kids are having conferences today, but she knows everything about Gabby Petito. That's kind of Colleen.
Holy, I can't. I hope, you know what? And
Dude, we better do this thing.
If I ever saw like your wife on a jury, I would pull this show immediately and be like, she needs to go. That is just, Your Honor.
Serve on juries.
What?
Huh?
I'm not allowed to serve on juries, especially if it has anything, because I am the sister of a murder victim, and
yeah,
I've already been told I'm not allowed to serve on jury duties that involve stuff like that.
Oh. All right. All right. Let's move on to the next thing. So anyway, we'll stay. Colleen will stay on the. I think we should send Colleen down there as our correspondent. Follow this
with one of those. I want her to wear a Sherlock Holmes hat all the time, and carry a monocle, and just and she has to put it over one eye as she asks questions. Like, just.
That's awesome. I would love it. Go ahead, T4.
I don't know. I see your mom helping you out. Like if like Colleen ever just like ended up dead, and you went to your mom and you were like, "Mom,
you know how Colleen is, Mom.
Mama Zepeda, you know, she's dead. I don't know what to do." And she would do everything she can to help you. She'd probably fail, but she'd do everything. She'd comfort you. She'd be like, she was never good enough for you. All this stuff. She'd make you feel better. She'd pump you up.
That's, I mean, God bless her, but that's not the move. Like, that is not. It is just,
and unfortunately, that's a selfish thing to do, because now you brought her in on this. So now, like his parents, like they've lived there. Like I said, I don't know where he worked, but let's say he retired from fucking Winn-Dixie and whatever, and they're living their lives. You bring it home to them, and now you get them involved in this shit, and now you fucked their world up because of some dumb shit that you've done. It's just, the whole thing is just an absolute mess. But
isn't that the way it works with kids?
I want to move on. Go.
Hold on, really quick. So, see, nothing could happen to me because my daddy's crazy, just like Joe Petito is. So Brian's either in Puerto Rico or Joe Petito has gotten a hold of him. So Andrew wouldn't do that because my dad's crazy and he don't care. My dad would get a hold of him.
All right. So the other
Your
story,
Honor, I'd like to pull this show.
The other story is, for those who don't know, QAnon. QAnon is crazy conspiracy people that think that Donald Trump's the chosen one, and that the Democrats eat babies and are Satan worshipers. So here's the QAnon conspiracy on Gabby Petito. Gabby Petito is an actress, and this is a false flag that the mainstream media is using to distract Americans away from Biden's failures. That's the talk from the QAnon world.
So they needed to, so they murdered a girl to. Okay.
No, she's an actress. She's not murdered. She's an actress.
Oh, she's not that. She's not. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Why kill her when you can just pretend to have killed her?
Right. Exactly.
That's cool. All right.
That's their
Good
thing.
for them. Good for them.
Hey, there's a story that was in the news that a local school district this week, there's a teacher that decided that he was going to duct tape the hands and mouths of 3 students, and now parents are not happy about it. This happened in Winterfield Venture Academy. The unnamed employee doesn't work at the school anymore, but according to parents, as they're upset to learn the allegations involving the individual's actions within one of the classrooms. They were in communicating with families. They seen the parents said duct tape was wrapped around the hands and mouths of 3 students. Now, I'm one of the ones, I could never work with these little bastards. I couldn't. Like, they just, like, I talked to Gina. Gina now works at a school. And
whoa. Who's trusting her at a school?
It's at some school. I don't even know, man.
Hold up. So you have a whole entire 5 children, and you're going to sit here and be like, I can't work with those little bastards?
I can't.
Not to mention that I got in trouble for saying little asshole to one of the kids.
Yes.
And you're going to call them little bastards.
Yes.
Okay, that's all.
I can't with these kids. Like I couldn't do a whole room full of kids. So I get that, and I know that. I know the kids lie, and I'm all for the parent in any situation for the most part. I fall on the side of the employee, giving them the benefit of the doubt. But once you go to pick up duct tape, does something not in your brain click?
No, because you know what? At least, first of all, my thing is that did he hit you? Okay, what'd you say to him? Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, now I got an issue if now every time I walk into your room, you're tied up because somehow he's triggered some kind of deep thing in you. And now I got some kid who's 12 into bondage looking at knots like he's intending to join the Navy at some point in his life. Then I'm going to be like, well, you were eventually going to find this one way or another. I'm glad now I know where all my belts are. But so, you know, there has to be a point where you go like this. Look, you know your kid. You can be mad, but you know your kid because your kid has pushed you to the point where you were like, I want to duct tape this little son of a bitch to a chair.
I agree.
And you're just mad because somebody else did it. You're mad because somebody else had the balls to do what you've been wanting to do for years. And you're like, well, I should have been able to do that. That's not fucking fair. That's what's made you angry.
I don't disagree with any of that. Other than the fact that this guy, I mean, you have to reevaluate if you're going to pick up duct tape to address a child. At some point, something's got to click. Otherwise, you got to go because
something did click. I've said your name 13 times. 13 times. It's not nothing's clicking with me. There's something not clicking with your little knucklehead son. That's the problem. And you know what? I thought maybe if I taped him to a chair and he had to sit down and sit still to listen to it, it would sink in. I just thought I was helping him because his ears seemed to be not getting the directions that I was talking to him in.
Speaking of schools, there's a trend right now that and Demetrius, you don't have a lot of girls around you. I have tons of girls around me, you know, just all over the place. There's a trend right now where
but that shouldn't mean anything. That should like we're all raising our kids equally, right? So regardless, I mean, I understand that you have different issues that you have to deal with, like women growing. Girls turning into women and that kind of stuff. But I have a boy who I'm trying to stop from turning anyway, not 2021.
I get it. But there's a new trend with these girls that they're only buying half shirts. Like the bottom half of shirts are missing. I don't understand.
Oh.
Every goddamn shirt,
I thought it was just going to be like one sleeve and then just that half. And I'm like, wow, that sounds weird.
It's just the top half. The whole bottom half of shirts are missing now from everyone.
Do you not remember workout clothes from the 80s?
Well, okay, I guess, but didn't they wear?
No, the answer to that question is no for him. No.
It's just. None of these shirts now have bottom halves, and it's I don't know.
Could it be you just haven't bought your kids new clothes in a while and they're growing out of them?
No, it's not that. No, like I asked Colleen, I'm like, why are there not bottom halves to shirts? And they're like, she's like, they don't even make bottom halves anymore hardly. Like you go to the
supply
store.
chain.
Is it a supply chain issue?
Supply chain issue.
But like I can get two shirts out of this yard of material if we only do.
Do you know how much money the sweatshops are saving?
I didn't think of that.
Huh. Like I literally checked my Amazon order and they said the top half was arriving today, the bottom half between 2 and 3 weeks from today.
So now you're saying that they made the bottom half, they just come in separate orders and we haven't received.
It's sitting at FedEx in Perrysburg.
Dude, no joke. I just got an email from Amazon saying they canceled one of my orders because something happened during shipping.
Yeah, it's the FedEx Perrysburg is something's going on there that's not a good thing. But then I'm like maybe the bottom half of the shirt I mean, and then I'm like, well, why is only that part of your stomach? Why is only that part of your body cold? I mean, warm. It's so hot that just the bottom part of your body, from your waist up to 4
Because
inches.
it looks
That
cute.
4 inches right there is hot. Apparently,
Because
the rest of the body's cold.
Stop.
But that
Stop.
4
You
inches-
know damn well. And it's disingenuous at times because we live in an age where we're supposed to like ignore that shit. And,
Right.
and you're not supposed to acknowledge it. They're supposed to have the freedom to wear whatever they want to wear. But when you wear traps, that's a trap. That's a trap shirt. And because what you're doing is you're trying to catch somebody staring at you, and then all of a sudden his ass is in a sling for acknowledging that part of you is cute, but you knew it because you pulled it out. You showed it to everybody, but we're not allowed to acknowledge. Hey, cuteness! Misogynist bitch! You know,
misogynist bitch.
you're like Jesus. Okay, we'll cover it up then.
Yeah, I know exactly. I'm like, if that 4 inches is hot and the rest of your body is cold, I think there's something wrong with the way that you are discerning heat.
It is the same guy who invented the puffy vest. He is rolling around just with savings and cash. He just does half shit. He's like, you know what? Sometimes people just want to show off their arms, so I'll cut off the sleeves. Sometimes people want the bellies, so I'm doing half of everything. I save a ton of money. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what a fucking sleeve is. Get the fuck out of here with that sleeve shit.
When your arms are hot and the rest of your body's cold, you got a half jacket.
Somebody came busted into his room. Mr. Hefferson, I have an idea. And he was like, and they pulled out this little diagram of a shirt. And he goes, snip, snip. Now I like it. And he cut it in half. He goes, roll with it, Johnson.
And they come in, Mr. Hefferson, look at this jacket. You cut the sleeves off. There you go.
Cut the sleeves off.
That's
Make the middle puffy. That's lovely.
That's a jacket right there. Speaking of temperature, so last night we got a little chilly yesterday. You know, for the first time, fall finally hit. It's like in the 50s yesterday.
It is still summertime. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I don't care if you're talking like you may be, you know, fooled by this mainstream media telling you that it's the first day of fall. But I believe that it is, we have another month of summer. So
that'd be nice. It's so we've had the windows open like the last 3 or 4 days. And then last night yesterday it got really chilly in the house. So I'm like, all right, we got to close the windows. So we close all the windows up. And then Colleen's like, well, it's still cold. I got to turn the heat on. All right. Okay.
When did Colleen get an accent?
All right. Well, she said, "Man, it's fucking cold in here. Let's turn the heat on."
All
right. We'll turn the heat on. So then we go upstairs. We go upstairs. The heat's on, mind you. And she's like, "Can you turn the fan on?" I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "No, I'm not turning the fan on." She's like, "Yes, turn the fan on. I need the fan on." I'm like, "No. You have just spent money to turn the heat on. Now you're spending money to turn the fan on, so those two can battle each other. Just going with it the way it was, and being cold, have a cold house, and then just put the covers on. It's so annoying. Oh God, here she comes.
That shit is so funny.
Who said to turn the heat on?
I said it was cold. You said should I turn the heat on?
No, you said maybe we should turn the heat on.
I said maybe.
Well, I said okay if that's what you want, and I went downstairs and I turned the heat on.
Well, okay, so because it was cold, right? Was it not cold?
Yes.
So you agree? Hold on. You agreed. So you went downstairs and turned the heat on. Okay.
Because I don't want to hear your big ass baby cry.
Well, then you want to turn the fan on to battle the heat.
Because I was hot, you was cold.
No, that's not.
Oh shit.
I mean, it sounds like you wanted the heat, and then she didn't, but she accommodated you, and then tried to come up with something for herself.
When does she ever accommodate me? Give me a break, Tifa. She obviously
She literally married you and bore you a child. That's a lot of accommodation.
It is a lot of accommodation.
Brenda Ladd says I turned my furnace on last night. See, and then Gina says the fan is not about temperature.
You gotta have air movement.
You gotta have air moving. The air gotta be moving.
I said it needs to.
All right, and the last thing. All right, let's go on. The T-Full, are you ready for the WTF news?
Of course, I'm ready.
All right, Ebenezer Bushrod's WTF. He's born ready. He's ready at 6:29, 6:31. Are we ready for WTF news?
He can get out of his car and somebody go, Chris, WTF news, and he'd come out with 4 stories, and that guy would be like, look, I gotta go. I know it's 2, and he's like, nope, you asked for this. You better pump another gallon of gas, bitch.
Yeah.
All right,
Hey.
go ahead, T-Full.
All right, so this is just a public service announcement to start off with. If you're gonna jump from a high building, check to make sure the way is clear. On there, a distraught 25-year-old man jumped off a 12-story building in Yonkers, New York, recently, and fell to the parking garage below, where he struck a 61-year-old man, and they both perished. So if you're gonna jump off a building, just check, make sure it's good. Make sure there's clearing. I don't care if you jump off the building.
Well, let me
That's your
ask you-
choice, but
let me ask-
don't take somebody else with you.
Well, let me ask you this: should the man jumping be looking, or should we, as a society on the ground, always be looking up to make sure no one's going to jump on us? Like, why is it the fault of the guy? Why is it the fault of the jumper, not the jumpee?
Well, see, I just always figure that it's not normal for things to be raining down upon you. That it
First
should
of
be
all,
on
you
the
act
person.
like when he jumped, like shit was just falling off of him, like he pre-jump stuff, like change was falling out of his pockets, and the guy should have been like, "Wow, that's weird. Who that was? Is that an American Express card?" And he just looked up.
Point
And
in real life has it ever been raining men, so I don't keep my head
Well,
up on the swivel looking up. Okay.
There's actually a whole song about it by the Weather Girls.
yes.
So it so Raining Men is a thing, T-Full.
All right, so but that was just my public service announcement. Just check the bottom before you
All right.
jump.
Do you know how weird that is?
My public
Yeah,
service
like-
announcement is look up when you're walking.
My thing is that's just destiny, buddy. That like you were 41 and you saw that baby. You were like, wow, that's a cute baby, not knowing that when that baby turned into its 20s, that baby was going to kill you. Do you know how weird that is? That guy and that the guy who jumped, life would intersect at that exact precise moment.
Yeah,
Ooh,
it is a crazy
chills.
coincidence.
It's got the chills.
All right, well, 11th grade AP Language and Composition students in Boston got a little bit of a thrill. They were going on a field
They
trip.
teach AP English in Boston.
I mean, I didn't say
Really?
it, but
They
by
should
a
just
lot
try
of
to
people.
teach regular English in
It's
Boston.
the wicked awesome class.
Yeah.
Well, they were going on a field trip, but Boston currently, like a lot of school districts, is experiencing a bus driver shortage. About
Mhm.
300 drivers short right now. So their first initial bus fell through, so they had to think on their feet, and they got themselves a party bus. So the students rode to their field trip in neon lights, music, and a stripper pole.
Yes.
But then that
And all
also
the girls are
begs
wearing
the-
belly shirts.
Yeah. That begs the existential question, though, is if there's nobody stripping, is it a stripper pole or
Oh.
just a pole?
That is
Yes. You can smell it. Yes.
Oh,
It's still a stripper pole. Yes.
Demetrius. I apologize for the views and opinions expressed by Demetrius Nicodemus.
That's not an opinion. That's science. Science.
That's
Yuck.
right.
Like that's the last thing any of those drivers clean. Just know that they vacuum around that bitch. You touch it, you got COVID.
Oh.
I got a little bit of sad thing here about unintended consequences.
Wait, real quick, back to the other one. And it is a great point. There's so many. Look, these people. There's a lot of companies out there that own these party buses, and like I know every single district, even around here, is having shortages of bus drivers. But all these party buses, they only work Friday and Saturday nights. So why not employ some of these?
Because kids don't tip. That's why kids don't tip. What are you
know if
gonna
I
do?
want little Bobby to risk a staph infection.
I
just to
want
get
you
to
guys.
class.
pass around an envelope. What are you going to give me? $3.50? Is that what your guys? What? Your parents aren't giving you tip the driver money. Maybe if they were, there wouldn't be a 300 driver shortage. How about that?
True.
So, an unintended, or at least not necessarily unintended, but at least a victim nobody really thinks about after our Afghanistan withdrawal and the Taliban taking back over. Everyone's focusing on the major stuff, women's rights and and things like that. But nobody's really focusing on the unsung heroes of Afghanistan, and that's the barbers. The barbers are seeing a very low attendance right now. People are also really broke and poor right now since the takeover, so they're being paid less for the services they offer. But nobody's also going for the stylish haircuts anymore. After the initial invasion, when the Taliban were displaced, people were clean shaven because it was seen as being more modern. In Afghanistan at the time, people were going in for mohawks and different types of hairstyles. But nowadays, with the Taliban back in control, people are growing back out their beards. They're growing out their hair. They're getting regular, standard haircuts that don't cost much. And really, it's losing a lot of money for these barbers.
Oh man.
Yep. Al Jazeera Ricks is really taking a hit.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not.
So.
It's the spinoff of Bo Ricks. Give yourself a look. Check it out. Al Jazeera Ricks.
They have a jingle?
Yes.
Al Jazeera Ricks has a jingle. Who knew? All right.
So and last but not least, a 35-year-old woman is suing her New York-based.
Gina said, "Stop insinuating that women who dance on poles are dirty."
I'm not insinuating they are.
So, 35-year-old woman is suing her New York-based gynecologist, Dr. Morris Wortman, for a variety of things, for emotional distress, negligence, fraud, lack of informed consent, assault and battery, malpractice. What did he do? Was this another case of a gynecologist taking advantage of his position?
Mm-hmm.
No. Well, I mean, technically, yes, but not in the way you might think. See, she just recently took an ancestry DNA test and found that she's actually the daughter of the man who's been her gynecologist for the past 20 years.
Oh, damn.
The man who's been performing breast examinations, pelvic examinations, pap smears, all that stuff, is the man that is also her father. Her mother, back in the 80s, went to him because she was having fertility issues and got artificially inseminated and was told that the sperm provided was from a student at a local college. It turns out it was his own. And so she's been going to him for all these years, and now she's recently found this out, confirmed it, and now she's suing him.
Ugh.
35 years later.
All right. I got nothing. All right. Is that it, Tifo?
That is all for it. Look, Demetrius's face just says it all right there. This is
I know.
Very
if
weird
you're listening to the podcast, you're missing Demetrius's face. All right, that's it.
That should have been like two. You got to sandwich that. That was a sandwich in between two better stories. That was not a closer story.
That was a closer story. You guys just don't know how to do stuff.
That was not a closer story.
That had so much meat to it.
Like that was like prom. That's what that was. That was
your prom.
You brought me
Prom
right up
close.
here, and then you kind of like dribbled at the end, and I'm like, the show started off, and then look at you crying in the corner, begging for your mama.
Begging for your mama.
What kind of weird ass prom did you have?
That is the WTF news. The Ebenezer Bushrod.
Harrison Rally prom.
Yeah, Harrison Rally prom. All right, Demetrius Nicodemus. If you guys need insurance, Liberty. Oh, sorry, I got stuck.
Can I ask you a quick question, and then that's it? What are you like? Do you know your insurance coverages? I just
What
off the top of your head, like what your liability coverages are.
No.
Do you know?
No. I don't.
Chris, do you know?
I'm not even sure if I have insurance.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
No,
That
I'm
is
state
it.
minimum. No, I'm state minimum on my auto.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Why? What?
Are
What?
you, dude? What are you doing? What are
No,
you doing?
What are you doing with your life, Tifo?
Can I? You asked the question. Let me explain.
Yes, please.
Okay. The reason why is because for some ungodly, unknown reason, every insurance company on the planet wants to charge me a lot of amount of money for a lot of money, and I have a relatively clean record. I only have one at-fault accident that fell off years ago.
Well, first of all, let me just tell you,
Yeah.
that whatever, you're paying a lot anyway. So, but just 25, whatever state minimum, however you do it, will cost you more in the end. Like literally, just because you're legal doesn't mean you're safe. Like you do more than $50,000 worth of damage to somebody. Guess who pays that? It's not the insurance company.
It's
How
you.
much do you think I pay a month for that, though?
Well, what's I don't know.
What?
$5.
Slight peace of mind. That's awesome. You know what? If I told you you could buy this house for $5,
even
but
at
you
that,
run the
Hold on.
No, I'm saying is even at that, I'm still paying like $115 a month just for
What?
that. Farmers freaking quoted me. They didn't even want to give me insurance. They quoted me like $400.
Christopher, give me your shit, and I will figure something else better out for you. But I tell you this: you hit one person, one accident. I guarantee you, the trip to the hospital in the ambulance is $25,000, and then guess who comes a knocking for you?
I'm not. I'm not
That's crazy,
disagreeing
bro.
with you.
All
I'm
right.
not disagreeing with you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're done. We're done.
Wait,
That's just crazy.
Demetrius, we can't insurance shame on the show. We can't.
Yes, we can. That's. Yes, we can. Like you'll be homeless if you fuck somebody up. That's it. They'll just take your shit.
All right, Tifo, you got to get with D. All right.
I mean, I've shopped around, so yeah, I'll do it.
I'll do it. All right, there you go.
Let me fix you.
Yes, please. Let Demetrius fix you.
Now, you're doing such a great job. Let's work on this.
All right, Demetrius Nicodemus, Chris Steve, I'm Andrew Z. See you guys next week.
I'm a hippo.
Broadcast Hippo, digital media.
Come on!